Hey amazing hackers, today we'll be looking at tier 1 of starting point. In this tier 1 we'll be looking at things like web exploitation, and we'll be looking at vulnerabilities like SQL injection, server-side template injection, remote file inclusion, and so on. In this we're looking at appointment box. So this one is basically an introduction to SQL and SQL injection. So I have already connected the VPN and spawned the machine, created a new directory for appointment, created a new node over here, already done the nmap scan with service version and only targeting the open ports. So it turns out only port 80 was open, okay, and it uses HTTP service, which means it is a website, and on the server side Apache is being used. So let's get back to the box. And what does the acronym SQL stand for? So SQL stands for Structured Query Language. As you can see over here, it is a structured query language. Okay, so basically SQL is kind of a programming language, but this language is only used to control databases, and this language will only deal with databases that look like tables. So essentially you can replace SQL with tables in real world. Okay, for example, if you take tier 0 and this is an imaginary table, okay, so it has some serial number, it has some name, and this meow, fawn, dancing, and redeemer, which we have already done. And let's say the password for each of them is cat, deer, entertain, and honor. SQL is used not only to store data but also to retrieve some data, okay, and it can also be used to check whether this is matching with this with a query like select name and password from tier 0 table. So this is the table name which I have kept, and where name equals to input 1, so this is the input that we are giving, and this is the input 2. Okay, so if our input is matching with dancing and entertain, then it's gonna return true. Okay, or if you want to retrieve some data, for example, if I'm giving name equals to dancing and if you want to retrieve entertain, the code will be something like select name, okay, or else select password from tier 0 where name equals to dancing. Okay, so this would return entertain. Okay, which means we are saying name equals to dancing, which is selected over here, and from this we are selecting password, okay, which will return entertain. Okay, so this is how structured query languages work. Okay, so let's get back. What is one of the most common type of SQL vulnerabilities? In SQL you can think of vulnerability like SQL injection. Okay, so submit the solution. Let's go to the next one. What is the 2021 OVAS top 10 classification for this vulnerability? Let's see the top 10 list of OVAS, and as you can see here we got OVAS top 10 list. Okay, in 2021 the classification for SQL injection comes under this injection category. Okay, so it says A03:2021 and injection. Okay, so we just have to write the whole thing here, A03:2021 hyphen injection. Let's submit the answer, and we got it. So the next one, what does nmap report as the service and version that are running on port 80 of the target? Okay, so let's get back to nmap scan. So the version says Apache HTTPD 2.4.38 Debian. Okay, so let's copy this and paste it over here and submit the answer, and we got it. So the next one is, what is the standard port used for the HTTPS protocol? Okay, so this protocol is HTTP. So the standard for HTTP protocol is 80. The standard for HTTPS protocol is 443. Okay, so HTTPS runs on port, it says 443. Let's go back and type 443. Submit the answer, and it's correct. What is the folder called in web application terminology? So in web application terminology is similar to Linux terminology in folder, which means directory. Okay, so let's submit it. Let's move to the next one. What is the HTTP response code is given for not found errors? So the not found error comes when we request the server for a page which doesn't exist. Okay, say for example, I'm opening one of this GitHub links, and in this, if I say something like this, which doesn't exist, and if I hit enter, I'm requesting something that doesn't exist. Okay, so the code that it returns is 404, which means not found. Okay, so the not found will give response code of 404. Let's submit and move to the next one. GoBuster is one tool used to brute force directories on a web server. What switch do we use with GoBuster to specify we are looking to discover directories and not subdomains? So we are looking for directories, right, using GoBuster. So let's type GoBuster and you can see that you get a GitHub link, and if you scroll down, you see the usage. Okay, you can see available modes, and the first one is dir. Okay, so if you use this switch, okay, so directory brute forcing, so this is what we want. So the answer will be dir. Okay, so let's move to the next one. What single character can be used to comment out the rest of the line in MySQL? So we are looking for a single character that can act as a comment in SQL. Okay, so we'll go to the SQL cheat sheet, and Portswigger has a really good cheat sheet. And if we move to the comments, we can see that this particular comment has 2 characters, and this one also has 2 characters, but this one has a single character. Okay, so if we use hashtag, we can comment out the rest of the line. Okay, so it is hashtag submit, and it's done. If the user input is not handled carefully, it could be interpreted as comment. Use a comment to log in as admin without knowing the password. What is the first word on the web page returned? So we have the website hosted in port 80, right? So if we just copy the IP address and open it in a new tab, the website opens right here. So let's log in, and when we log in, we can use some common usernames like admin, and let's log in. Okay, so we could not log in with admin, so we try to use admin quotation and something else over here. Okay, so let's log in. So we don't get any kind of errors over here. Okay, but we know that this username and password is similar to this one, right? So username and password from, let's say, users, where name equals to admin and password equals to ASDF. So this is what we have given to the database. If we just use some kind of quotations, so usually this will be text format, so we have to enclose this under quotations. So if we use some quotations like this, and if we keep extra quotation over here, whole SQL statement will return some error. Okay, but this time it is not returning any error. So what we can do is we can comment out the rest of the line using some comment character. Okay, so we know that the hashtag creates a comment. It will comment out the rest of the line. Okay, so the rest of the line is commented out. So we'll use this as the payload for the username. Okay, and for the password, let's try not to give anything. And there is a client side code which is actually stopping us from giving a blank password. Okay, so we have to enter something over here. Okay, anyhow, once it reaches the server, this comment will comment out this password, and we have admin over here. Okay, so let's see what we have. So the payload lets us in, and the question says, what is the first word on the web page returned? The first word of the web page is congratulations. Okay, so let's copy this and paste it over here, submit this, and we got it. So what is the root flag? The root flag is right below this. Let's Control C, Control V, and submit, and we're done. I hope you get it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.